beliefs, and Darwin's theory of evolution. And luckily, quantum physics and metaphysics are finally closing the gap and coming together and saying the same thing. And I think that we were perfection. We were a part of the whole at one time. We were God, as Shirley MacLaine said. We were all a part of God. And the Bible says we were made in God's image. Okay? So when we were given free will, and we chose free will over divine will, we also chose responsibility. Okay? And we make mistakes as human beings. We forget and we get irresponsible. So this is what the apple is, okay? We bit off more than we could chew. So we make these mistakes and we're constantly trying to get back to our divinity so we can be a part of the whole again. And in order to do this, we have to keep coming back and learning the human experience and perfecting, hopefully, perfecting our soul so that eventually we don't have to come back. This is kind of going on a broader scale, but in some of my past lives, I've seen people from other planets, and they're doing the same thing. I had a gentleman, this is a couple of months ago, that came from a very advanced planet. I couldn't even pronounce the name, it wasn't in our language, but they were much more advanced than us, and they were in a state where they were very good people, and they didn't know what pain and war and all the negative aspects of humanity, they didn't know it. This young man had taken this for granted. And so his bosses, if you will, had told him, you're going to have to go to Earth and learn what pain is. And be like, when I got through, now this was a 6-foot big guy, he was sobbing. And he told me, he says, I've never felt like I belong here. He says, I feel like a complete stranger. And he was very obviously in a lot of pain. But that was his karma. In order to go back, in order to go up to the step ladder of reincarnation and go up that rung back to where he'd come from, he'd been demoted, if you will. And he'd had to come back here to learn pain so that he would appreciate where he had come from. There is a very, very good book out that I have not read in years. What's it called? Oh dear, it was written by a woman. It's about reincarnation, a woman from Germany. Mm-hmm. And it was a very popular book in the 1980s. Can't remember the name, I'm sorry. But she felt that she had done something so bad. She was a priestess in Egypt, and she'd done something so bad that she had to go back, and she was incarnated into a stone. And each lifetime she had to keep working herself back up to the human experience. And I think it was written during the Second World War.
When and where does karma start?
If you believe in the Bible, karma started with the original sin. Mm-hmm. Okay. And of course, my belief is that it started when we chose free will over divine will. It's that simple.
Okay. And the other question they had was, why do we have karma?
Why do we have karma?
Yeah, that's a very short
to learn the lessons that in order to get back to our own divinity, to get back to being pure and innocent and a part of the whole again. We have spent, we've been around for, 14,000 years? We're not as old as the planet, of course, is millions of years old. So we're comparatively new compared to the planet. But I think as long as we've been here, we've made mistakes. We've made war, we've discovered power and greed. Some people think of the ego as being evil. I don't think of the ego as being evil. If we didn't need an ego, we wouldn't have one. It's when you become egotistical that you're in trouble. You're out of balance. And I see this so many times with people that have come back to learn the karmic lessons. And I believe we make a contract between ourselves and the divine, and we're going to do this. We're going to accomplish various things in this life. And we think it's going to be a breeze, a piece of cake, right? And wham, we're born and we've forgotten all about what we're supposed to be here to do. But our subconscious hasn't forgotten. And so our subconscious keeps giving us little nudges of what we need to do. We do things without even thinking that are a part of the lesson. Okay, a part. Give you an example, a personal example. My kids get mad at me because I've never voted in my life. Okay? My own personal feelings are about politics is that it makes no difference.
Really?
Yeah, it makes no difference what political belief you have.
Wow.
They all come from the same mold. Well, I experienced a flashback of a past life where I was a politician, and a very nasty politician. You know, I manipulated and greed, the whole gamut. And of course got my comeuppance for it. Well, I've gone out of balance, and we all do this. In order to correct that wrong, I've gone the opposite way, okay? I avoid it like the plague, and that's not good either.
Yeah.
And we do this.
Yeah.
We're so anxious to resolve whatever lessons we've come back to learn that we have a tendency to go back. I have a blog on my website about this.
Tell us the name of your blog and your website.
It's www.mariefriend.com.
That's kind of easy to remember.
Very easy to remember.
Your name, Marie Friend.
Yeah, but I have a very, very a clever artistic webmaster, and I wrote one of the blogs is called Astrological Shifts, and he talks about this imbalance that we cause with ourselves. And he wrote a cartoon that puts it right in perspective, and it's a couple of men sitting on a seesaw. One man weighs about 300 or 400 pounds, and he's a big giant on one end sitting on the ground, and the other is this poor little wimp sitting up there looking, you know. And that's what I mean by being out of balance. You're either up in the air and can't do anything about it, or you're flat on the ground and can't do anything. You've got to have that balance in what you do.
Absolutely. The book, Star, has been endorsed by Barbara Hand-Clough, has a 5-star rating on Amazon, and is also on the websites of Barnes & Noble and our local Powell's. And what is the name of your book distributor?
New Leaf.
New Leaf.
New Leaf, which is one of the biggest metaphysical distributors. And if people cannot find it in their local store, all they've got to do is to tell the store owner that the New Leaf distributes it, because I don't know of any metaphysical bookstore that does not order from them. And probably some of your regular bookstores order it from them.
So any plans for future publications?
I have a couple of books that I've delineated, and actually I've been working on both of them. And this time I'm taking my time and enjoying myself. With this one, I was just at it constantly. And they're not as thick as this. They're both of them, well, the one I'm working on now I would categorize as a self-help book, I suppose. I've titled it Dreams, Essentials to Your Soul.
And you can find out more about it when you look on Marie's website.
Well, they won't find out about it yet because it isn't finished.
You're going to have to check it every month, once a month. Just check it out, see what's up there.
Yes.
Marie, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our audience and our viewers out there?
Yeah, I've had one thought recently that has really struck me in my mind. I've got to the point where when I listen to the news, 9 times out of 10 I will turn it off, because we've been blasted so constantly with tremendous negativism. Tremendous. Not just the political stuff that's going on, but more painful is all the catastrophes that have been happening around the world, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, the flood, everything that's been happening. And it would be wonderful if the media could just start broadcasting to people all the good things that are happening in the world, the little people that are out there helping, and the things that people are doing to clean up this mess that we've made of the world. Of course, unfortunately, bad news seems to get more ratings than
attracting,
you know,
yeah.
and so you know, unfortunately, probably won't happen. But I would like to tell people that it isn't all doom and gloom. You know, here again, there's balance. The world is cleaning up the mess that we've made, and we're just going to have to go along with it and do the best we can.
That's right, Marie, friend, I love having you in my show.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you
and
having you here.
I've enjoyed it.
And until the next Authors Forum, have a most inspiring week.